Hey guys, welcome back to Mo's Game Table. Today we're going to take a look at something a little bit different. This is called INCOUNTRY, and this is made by Enemy Spotted Studios. There was a Kickstarter on this not too long ago, and I got in on it because it's modern era tactical combat with miniatures, and the miniatures looked fantastic from everything that I was seeing, and the gameplay seemed like it was pretty streamlined, fast to play, real fun to play. So I jumped in and went all in on it. I got everything, including some terrain, which we'll take a look at as well. But right now, we're going to just take a look at the main game box itself. So let's take a look at the back of the box and see what this game's all about. INCOUNTRY is a real-time tabletop war game for one or more players. Players will assume command over several different modern-day forces or be given the option to create their own before facing off in intense tactical battles and military intelligence gambles. INCOUNTRY features a quick-to-learn and in-depth game system with the absolute bare minimum for tokens. INCOUNTRY plays intuitively and features a unique pre-game battle where players will face off with their opponents, gambling on intelligence and bluffing their way to victory. Shape the battle to come by drawing the right cards or bluffing the intel you have to throw your opponent off. And at the top, it gives you an example of the different models you get in the game, as well as an exclusive hostage model. On the left-hand side, we have an example of the components. The component list, we get 25 resin models, 2D terrain set, a 2x2 foot game board, intel card deck, game token set, and 2D10. So let's take a look inside and see what we get. All right, we got several boxes of miniatures. We're not going to go through each of them, but I will pull out a sampling of them so you can see what the quality is like. Some extra bases. 2 copies of the physical rule book, which is pretty awesome. We get some tiles used for the terrain. Cards. More terrain pieces here. Counters. And the map board that you'll be playing on. So let's set up the map and take a closer look at the game. And here's a look at the mounted map that comes with the game. It is actually just a really simple playing surface that you're going to be using, but it is a nice hard mounted board. So that way you can set up the terrain any way you want, depending on the scenario that you want to set up. And I think that's pretty cool. But I love the fact that this comes with the game because, sure, you can throw down and just, mark off a 2x2 area if you want to play this game yourself, which a lot of people will do. But I think having this is just an added benefit, and that's why I was glad to get this with the game. Now we'll take a look at a few examples of the intel cards that you'll have in the game. At the bottom, this card here is going to give you what you can do on your opponent's turn. This is going to list out all the reactions you can take. It says a team can only perform one reaction measure during an enemy team's performance. Suppressed teams cannot perform these measures: take cover, return fire, or ambush. So this is a quick reminder when you're playing that if your team is suppressed, they cannot take cover, return fire, or ambush. Above those are the intel cards, and we've got the different types along the top. We have the Operation, GeoInt, which is Geospatial Intelligence, HUMINT, Human Intelligence, SIGINT for Signals Intelligence, and OSINT for Open Source Intelligence. These cards will give you bonuses or the ability to complete special objectives in the game, which are called intel objectives. You must have 2 of the same type of intel cards to be able to use your force's intel effect of the same type. For example, let's take a look at the Tier 4 Insurgents. If they had 2 OSINT cards, locals, one team may enter the board from a non-avenue of approach board edge using reposition. And then your OSINT intel objective is Mission Specialist must plant objective within 6 inches of enemy AOA and defend it until the end of the game. So that's how those cards will change things up as you play. And these cards are part of the OPSEC optional minigame. So you don't have to use it if you don't want. This is just a way that kind of models intelligence and the effects it'll have on the battlefield between the different groups. Now we'll take a look at the front of the card. Remember, the back we already took a look at. That's what you can do and cannot do on your opponent's turn. Here's what you can do on your turn. I wanted to bring it up close because the text on these is fairly small. First thing is, it says you may execute with any team. Number 2, defensive tokens are removed from your team. Number 3, any team with a suppressed token flips it to the defensive side. Then you have the options of assault, engaging, or reposition. And next we'll take a look at the 2 sheets of tokens that come with the game. Not going to show you both, just the one, because they are the same sheets. You're getting the same type of tokens, one for each side. And they're going to be used for tracking different statuses of your models, as well as the states in the game. And standard chipboard, really nicely done, very easy to read. And they punch nice and cleanly as well. So see if that fits back in there, and it does. That shows you how easy they punch. Well done counters. And here's a look at the terrain pieces that come with the game. These are just your standard chipboard, and they have different types of terrain on the front and the back, so that way you can create all different setups anytime you want to play. And I think it's pretty neat, so that way you can create interiors, you can have exteriors, the whole 9 yards. Got a few more here in my hand. You can see, like I said, double-sided. You have a bedroom, a TV, a kitchen, another bedroom, a car, bathroom, and a backdoor patio, or backyard patio. So it's kind of neat that you can create all different setups or use these in conjunction with 3D terrain. But of course, everybody wants 3D terrain, and that's why we play miniatures. And one of the main reasons I love using miniatures on a table is you can really truly see and check line of sight a lot easier by looking down at the eye level of the model to see what, if anything, they can see of the opponent's model. So that is another beautiful thing about it. Unlike, the standard top-down war games that I cover on the channel normally, the tactical games there, you got to try to create the 3D world in your head. Here, by using the terrain, using the miniatures, you have a 3D world that you're working in. You can see everything much better. And what would a miniatures game be without boxes of miniatures? And that's what we're going to take a look at here. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but I'm going to open them up. I've not even opened these up yet, so we're going to kind of see them as I pull them out. Nicely packed. Got the bases for those there. And I'm not sure what these ones are, but these look like, yep, U.S. operators. Either Rangers or not sure which ones these are, because I'd have to look and check them on the site. But wow, detail on these is really great. And I'm going to zoom in here for a second. I'm actually enjoying checking these out myself. Looks like a little bit of flash there, I think. But aside from that, not much at all. These are nice, clean models. Just really, really nice. Here, I'm going to zoom in so you can take a closer look at this. There you go. There's a good look. Hopefully this will stay focused as I move the model around. But you can see all the detail on the gear, the weapon, the helmet, the boots, the clothing. Everything is just fantastic. These guys do amazing work. And they even have 3D files for you who print your own stuff with your 3D printers. You can get files for these from their site, so go check them out. And just great work on these miniatures. We'll take a look at a couple more. There's a look at the next one. I love the ball cap backwards and the dynamic pose as he's making entry. Pretty darn cool. And we'll see if we can get a look at the face right there. Hopefully that will show up good for you guys. But really, really nicely done models. I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing from these guys. I was impressed with what I saw from the Kickstarter, but Kickstarters don't always pan out as well when you get them in person. But man, these guys really lived up to what they promised. These models are fantastic. Here's another one I wanted to show you because this guy is pretty heavily kitted out. So you see a lot of the detail on the gear on the back, the pack, the pants, the creases in the pants, the boots, all the gear on the front, mag pouches, the weapon, the helmet, everything is just fantastic. Sidearm, the whole 9 yards. Really, really solid detail. And another one I want to take a look at. Look at this one. He's got the mask on. He's got the nods on top of the helmet. Whole 9 yards. This is just really great detail. Love the look of it. And the other thing to note too is look at that rifle. There's really no bend to them. I mean, normally you'll see a lot of bend to these miniatures when you get miniatures in. Not seeing too much of it at all with these, which is fantastic. That's a quick look at some of the miniatures that come with this. There are a bunch because I went all in on this, and I just wanted to give you a quick look at them. I'm real impressed with what I'm seeing, and I think these are going to be fantastic to paint. So I'm looking forward to getting a chance to sit down and paint them. I don't know when that's going to be. I got a real packed schedule right now, so hopefully in the next couple months I'll be able to sit down, paint, and be able to play this game, because the game looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, and these miniatures are going to really just suck you right into it. But again, fantastic quality. These guys do great work from everything I'm seeing here. These guys are the real deal. So go check them out on their website. I'll have a link below so you can check out the game as well as their website and their other games. And we'll take a look through the rule book. This is a 53-page full color book. And pardon the glare. I'm going to try to avoid glare if I can. Kind of glossy pages, and the lights will bounce off some glare on them. But you'll see here on the right-hand side has the table of contents. That's going to list out all the different sections of rules and their page numbers. And this is, as I said, 53 pages. Going to explain to you what is INCOUNTRY. Keep it simple, fast, and fun is the intent of this game, which is what attracted me to it. You're not going to be inundated with minutia. You're going to be just all about getting in there, brawling, and getting out. And then your steps for your first game, game overview, performing, priority player, grips. Grips are going to basically be your pass number. So if you need to succeed on something, you'll have a number. That's what you'll have to pass. Performance steps, execute, status tokens, measures, reaction measures. Measures are going to be assault, engaging, reposition. Reaction measures are going to be return fire, take cover, and ambush. And remember, you can't do those with suppressed team. So try not to be suppressed, but I'm sure you will be, because that's what a gunfight is. It's a two-way communication through sending lots of pews down range. Moving over small objects, vertical movement, coherency, close combat, line of sight, defensive token cover. And I like how they've got the illustrated examples in there as well. Your shooting steps, your shooting summary, an example there. And then you have suppression, stunned, explosives, setting up your board. And look at that board. That looks badass right there. And then they've got some examples as to how you can use those pieces of terrain, those cardboard pieces, to create your own board. But of course, that's great if you need to throw something down real quick, but definitely get real terrain so you can have it look like that. That's fantastic. Different types of terrain: rooms, hallways, obstacles, hidden rooms, windows, avenue of approach, infiltrating, exfiltrating, and your alternate insertion points. Teams, special team, fire team, mob teams, roles, passive rules, and equipment. And it says stop. Now you've learned how to play INCOUNTRY. So basically the first 22 pages, that's it. That's all that you need to know out of the 53-page book is these rules here. Then, of course, you get into the advanced rules: alert level, civilians and crowds, contacts, night, buildings with lights on, dogs, and placed weapons, hidden elements, third-party forces, playing larger games. Intel cards, which is those cards we looked at earlier. That's the optional OPSEC minigame. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. Then you get into your scenarios and the scenario charts, how you're going to create your scenarios. And then it'll give you your objective, special rules, attacker or defender, 0-hour trigger, all broken down for you. Vehicles, all the rules for vehicles that you'll be using if you choose to use vehicles. Assembling your force, how to do that. And then you have your different elements: rangers, insurgents, deniable east, INCOUNTRY armory. Then you have team building, special rules. Kind of sticking together here, these last couple pages. Key concepts, base to base, D10, measures, line of sight, model types, priority player, and then the game flow reference. This is going to tell you how you set up your game, and then step by step. And that is it. We're at the back of the rule book. Like I said, 22 pages of rules, not a deep rule book, and it's a small rule book too. So you can have one very easily in your bag. If you take this to your game store or take it to your friend's house, you're not going to have a big hardcover book. But for those of us who are getting a little older, the good thing is the text is not super small, so it's not hard to read, because I know us guys, we have a little bit of trouble and difficulty with reading that small text, but not having a hard time at all reading this text. So a lot of good info in a small book. And last, but definitely not least, we're going to take a real quick look through the 3D terrain, which came with the Kickstarter. Remember I said I got the all-in, and these are the pieces. I just opened up the box, and there was some wrapping around it. I had to remove Cinder City small houses. So that's going to give you an idea of the detail on these pieces. We've got some clear sheets as well. One clear sheet. That's not going to stay. Then we've got some black plastic sheets for different details, fans, grates. Pretty awesome. There's some more. Then here we go to the MDF. A couple of pieces of the black that are coming off from the grates on the black plastic piece. Looks good. And look at these walls. This is fantastic. You got brick, and then you got the stucco covering coming off. Same for that. Some more on this side with some conduit coming off. You've got power boxes. Nice detail on these. Really like the look of them. All shot to hell too, which is cool. It definitely looks like it's an area that's seen lots of combat, which is what you'd expect with these pieces. But fantastic detail. Really, really nice detail. Well worth picking up. And I believe they're going to have these available after. Well, this was part of the Kickstarter, like I said, but I believe they're also going to have these available on their website. If not, hopefully they'll bring them back and make them available, because I know we had to wait for them. There was a bit of a delay getting them in, and I was like, no, hell no, I'm waiting, because I definitely want the terrain. I'm going to have the whole smash on the table when I get the time to sit down and play, but just putting it all back here. But really think that the extra detail on having all these pieces of terrain is going to be fantastic and just enhance the gaming experience of INCOUNTRY. And that is a look at everything you get inside of INCOUNTRY. This is a tactical miniatures game published by Enemy Spotted Studios. Well, when I saw this on Kickstarter and saw the models, I was like, wow, if the models end up half as good as they look, I'm going to be really impressed. And the gameplay itself seemed like it was going to be streamlined, fun, but not lacking realism. It's still going to have realism. It's just not going to have that ridiculous, silly realism that you see in some other tactical games where, you know, you got to roll to see if you slip on the wet grass at 6 o'clock in the morning or something like that. That's fine and dandy, but it's like, I don't need that minutia. I want to get in and just have a gunfight. And that's what this is going to be right here. Get right into the action, but you still feel the tempo of the operation and you feel the action, which is what you want to do. You want to be drawn into it, and that's what this looks like it's going to do. We'll have to wait and see until I play to be sure, but from what I've seen so far, it definitely feels that way. The models, let me tell you, they looked great on the Kickstarter. They're fantastic in person. These guys really, 2 thumbs up, outstanding job. Now, can't wait to paint them up and see how I make them look. I'm not the best painter in the world by any stretch, but I'm definitely looking forward to the fun of painting these up and then having painted miniatures up on the table as well as the painted terrain also. One other thing I want to mention, this is a veteran-owned and operated business. So that also drew me to this because I love to support my brother vets. And the other thing that I really appreciate and I really love about these guys, 10% of their proceeds go to help prevent veteran suicide. And that is a real problem. And I'm really proud of these guys for doing that. That's a fantastic cause to help our brother and sister veterans out there dealing with difficulties that they are and trying to help them. But like I said, you get that fantastic miniatures. You get the rule books. You get your tokens, you get some terrain itself if you want to just use the flat cardboard, but you also have the option to get in the 3D terrain. You can buy your own 3D terrain also, but it's great that it comes with that in the box. You don't just have a flat board or just play on a table. You can throw these down and you can just go through it pretty straightforward. But of course, you want to have the whole 3D thing with having fantastic terrain out there on the board along with the models. But really looking forward to getting this on the table and checking it out and seeing if it's going to be as fun as I expect it will be. And I'll probably primarily be playing this solitaire. May be able to bring it with me to a con or something like that, but this definitely looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Solitaire or with multiple people. So looking forward to checking it out, and I will report back at a later time on my gameplay experiences. And who knows, maybe get these guys on Whiskey Charlie one night to talk about it. Well, I hope that helps you guys out if you've been curious about this one. And if you didn't know about it, I hope it definitely gets your interest in going to check out Enemy Spotted Studios. There'll be a link below to the website so you can go check out what they've got. They've got a couple games. They've got INCOUNTRY, they've got Kill Wager, and they also have a club that you can join where you can get the STL file so you can print out with your own 3D printer. So looking at what the quality of these models are here, the quality of their models are going to be fantastic. So looking forward to seeing what else they come out with in the future. So you know the drill. If you have any comments or questions, post them down below. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.